Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner welcoming you back to the Kingdome in Seattle, where the Seahawks lead 17-3 over the Kansas City Chiefs. Elsewhere in the NFL this afternoon, these are other 1 o'clock starts on the West Coast. Denver went ahead of San Diego 7-6 on a 3-yard touchdown run by Rob Lytle.
Very important game for Denver, Michael. They've got to stay in it.
Oakland on top of Cincinnati 14-10. An 8-yard touchdown run by Kenny King, the acquisition from Houston. Buffalo on top of the New York Jets 17-10 at halftime. Ferguson 2 touchdown passes to Mark Brammer, the tight end from Michigan State. Miami has increased their lead over the Los Angeles Rams 21-7. That one's in the second quarter. Woodley has 2 touchdown passes and a touchdown run. He's the rookie quarterback who replaced the injured Bob Greasy. Philadelphia on top of New Orleans 17-14 at halftime. Jaworski a touchdown pass of 6 yards to Harold Carmichael. That's the difference there. So we've got you up to date with some of the games still being played in the NFL this afternoon. We've seen some upsets on the part of the New York Giants. Hats off to them finally. They beat the Dallas Cowboys this afternoon. In case you weren't aware, 38-35. Joe Danello kicked a field goal. Here, the Seattle Seahawks are trying to win their very first home game of this 1980 season. We're in week number 10. They've had 4 games to date and came up losers all 4 times.
But they did play division leaders, San Diego, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and it's really tough to win against those teams, as the rest of the NFL will tell you.
After today, next week, the Seahawks will be playing on Monday night against the Oakland Raiders. That'll be tough. That's here in the Kingdome. Kansas City will have to travel to San Diego. Both AFC Western Division contests. Looking at the Seattle sideline. Keep you
11 days, 3 games.
And the Thanksgiving Day game against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas, Texas.
Which will be on NBC.
Division play records this year. The Seahawks are 1-2 in division play. They have a win over KC, and they've lost to Oakland and San Diego. Kansas City is 2-3 in division play, and they don't want to lose here this afternoon. It will drop them to 2-4, and they only have 4 more games against division opponents after this one. They have the Broncos twice.
Always tough games. The Broncos right now leading San Diego 7-6, and that's the most important game for them. So every interdivisional game now, with everybody looking like they're going to conspire to be 8-8, is very, very important.
Michael, we have made much of the fact that Sherman Smith has taken a lot away from a lot of people here at the Seahawks. He makes his presence in the lineup, makes Jim Zorn a better quarterback, makes Steve Largent a better wide receiver, makes Sam McCullum a better wide receiver. But as you were mentioning so often, the play of the forgotten men, Larry Brinson and Lawrence McCutcheon, have played a big part in Seattle rolling up a 17-3 lead.
There's no doubt about it. And as we look at the halftime statistics, the yards rushing 84-45. Brinson has carried the ball twice for 23 yards. That's an 11-point average. McCutcheon 3 times for 22 yards. That's 7.3, and that makes a whole bunch of difference in the Seattle offense. 3
times in one game is a lot for Lawrence McCutcheon. Prior to today's contest, he only carried the ball 4 times. He's also thrown an 11-yard pass. Wasn't for a touchdown, but it still kept Kansas City off balance. We're moments away from the second half kickoff. Chiefs trying to get it back together. They trail by 14, 17-3.
But the Chiefs have come back before, and they've done it over and over again. So don't count these Chiefs out. They're a young ball club that have got a lot of heart, despite some bangs and bruises that they've got in the first 8 weeks of the season.
Back deep for Seattle, number 24, Al Hunter, brought back from the injured reserve list. And Will Lewis, number 41. Nick Lowry will kick off, number 8. Out of Dartmouth University, has had an outstanding year as the man who replaced Jan Stenerud. Lowry's kick, high, end over end, drives Lewis back to his goal line. Across the 5, heads for the 20. Mike Williams, 83, was there. Paul Dombrowski, number 46, a reserve defensive back, makes the stop.
Anytime you stop the return team before they get to the 20-yard line, you've done an excellent job on special teams. And Kansas City starts out on a good note, at least.
Number 25, or 52 rather, Joe Norman is down on the ground. He's had an outstanding game playing in passing situations.
That'll hurt Seattle's defense if Beeson has to stay in there on passing downs at middle linebacker.
Second quarter score, Buffalo 17, New York Jets 10.
Norman, a 6'1", 220-pound second-year man out of Indiana, holding that left knee. That is definitely not a good sign. I'll tell you, players universally hate the AstroTurf surfaces, but the stadiums that play both baseball and football, they are exceptionally rough to play on. It's like playing fuzzy cement.
Yep. A lot of leg injuries happen on special teams. There's such a melange of bodies. You like that word?
Is it a word?
I don't know.
You're going Howard Cosell on me.
No, I'm not. Oh, please don't do that to me. But a little twisted knee in there for Norman, and Seattle can't afford any more injuries. They've had their share this year.
Seahawks on top of Kansas City, 17-3 in the third quarter. Number 35, Horace Belton, running back for the Chiefs, has been taken to the locker room for some reason. We'll hope to have that information for you a little bit later.
Right now it's Norman down, and they won't take any chances with knees. Here comes the stretcher. I hate to see that, Michael. I had 4 knee operations, and I know exactly how Mr. Norman feels right now. Oh, please don't let it be serious.
Well, over the years, players have gotten bigger, faster, and stronger, but the knee has never undergone any evolutionary change. It has stayed the same. It's still a basic joint, and about all you can do to protect it is a lot of intensive weight training to build up the quadricep muscles, which protect the joint and hold it stable. But even then, you're not insured against knee injuries. Let's hope that Joe Norman doesn't have his left knee injured seriously.
Just a sprain. He'll be back in a couple weeks. Let's leave it at that.
Up until this moment, Norman had been playing, you mentioned it before, an outstanding game replacing Terry Beeson. Literally all over the field this afternoon.
Put a lot of pressure on Beeson now in the passing situations. He's going to have to stay in there.
Only gives him 5 healthy linebackers. Second half is just underway. The Seahawks will have to put the ball on their own 18. 1st and 10. Jodat and Dornick, the running backs for Seattle. Play action. Zorn has to scramble out of the pocket. Back against the field. Intercepted by Manu Maliuna, number 54. Unwise decision to back against the grain. Dornick was the intended receiver. Michael, let's take a look at it.
Manu Maliuna played this one perfectly. He was reading the eyes of Jim Zorn. Look at him right now, 54, reading Jim Zorn all the way. And when he steps back to throw across the grain, that's the worst way to throw the football. Defenders love it. They just drool at the mouth saying, I'm going to pick that off. Manu Maliuna picks it up and puts Kansas City right back in this football game, Mike.
That is, if they score, they have a great opportunity. The ball is on the Seattle 12-yard line. Tony Reed, one of the running backs, as is Ted McKnight. Fuller, there's Reed.
What a
He
catch.
makes the grab, touchdown.
What a catch, Michael. And what a throw by Fuller.
Michael Jackson had him covered about as well as any linebacker can cover a running back. But Tony Reed, a super all-around athlete, 12-yard touchdown strike.
This is the way to do it. Play action pass after a turnover. Steve Fuller, not a very good fake, but he's got that running back one-on-one with the linebacker. He makes the only throw he can make. And look at Reed with a great concentration. Right over his head, one foot in, the other foot dragged. Perfect play by a great athlete. And Kansas City's back in this game, Michael.
A turnover and a touchdown has stripped this capacity crowd of its vocal cords. They are absolutely silent as Lowry attempts the extra point. It's up, it's good. And the Chiefs have battled back after an interception by Manu Maliuna and a touchdown catch by Tony Reed. 17-10, Seattle leads. Stay with us. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner back here in the Kingdome. And in case you've just joined us, the Seahawks, which led at halftime 17-3, committed a costly turnover. Frank Manu Maliuna intercepted a Jim Zorn pass intended for Dan Dornick.
And how quickly it turns around, Mike.
Tony Reed scored in a 12-yard touchdown pass from Steve Fuller. Al Hunter out of Notre Dame brings seconds. The kickoff by Lowry back out to the 27-yard line. Paul Dombrowski on the stop.
Al Hunter trying to give the Seahawks some good field position to rebound from that quick turnover and touchdown. And watch this tackle. Two Kansas City players push each other right into Hunter and knock him down. That's the way to do it. If you can't get your hands on him, push somebody into him.
Thank you, Alphonse. You're welcome, Gaston.
Yes.
First and 10, Seattle's ball on their own 27-yard line. They lead 17-10. Second half just underway. John Sawyer in motion left. Give this to Jim Jodat. Guess who's there? 67, Art Still.
We talked about Art Still at the very top of the show and about his great pass rush. And he can also stop the running play. And if he's playing pass and getting the great outside rush, he's going to stop the sweep every time. Against the 3-4 defense, Mike, you can't run outside consistently. You've got to run inside. And there's the perfect example.
Still had 8.5 sacks last year. Already this season he has 7. Gives you an indication of his rapid improvement. And last year he wasn't bad. But he is a solid all-pro. Steve Rabel in the game now as the third wide receiver for Seattle. Second down and 15. Zorn rolling left. There's Largent. Gets back to the initial line of scrimmage. Maybe a little bit more. Eric Harris on the stop, number 44. It's a cornerback who returned after a 4-year hiatus in Canada, playing for the Toronto Argonauts. Kansas City's scoring drive, not much of one. One play, 12 yards, 8 seconds off the clock.
Interesting on that Jim Zorn pass. The way to stop Art Still's pass rush is to roll away from him, and that time he had to chase Zorn, gave him plenty of time to find Largent. Get at least 7 of those yards he lost.
Third down, 7 ball now, resting at the 30. Zorn, fullback draw to Dornick. He's got the first down and more. Rolls out to the 43-yard line. Gary Barbaro and Herb Christopher finally slowed Dornick down.
Oh, I like it. Run on the passing downs and pass on the running downs. And this drop play has been very effective. Brinson scored on the quick draw on the turnover in the first half. And here with a 3rd and 7, an obvious passing down, they go again with the quick draw to Dornick, the medical student, and they get a first down.
Credit to center John Yarno, 51, with another good block. 4th-year man out of Idaho. Has been a steady force in that offensive line for Seattle. First and 10 now. Ball's at the Seahawk 42. Zorn fakes the draw this time and goes to the airwaves. There's Sawyer wide open. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. He came across the middle and beat Cal Peterson, number 50.
Again, play action pass. They'd run the quick draw to Dornick. This time they fake it. And if you want to beat the pass defense by any team in the NFL, you throw over the linebackers in front of the defensive backs with the crossing patterns. John Sawyer, a good job of getting his foot down and staying inbounds.
Gain of 20 yards for John Sawyer. Gives Seattle penetration into the Kansas City end of the field. Ball on the KC 38-yard line. First and 10. Zorn again back to pass. Intended for Dornick, overthrown, and wisely so. Sylvester Hicks was applying pressure. Gary Spaney was blitzing from his inside right linebacker position.
Jim Zorn had to get rid of that before he wanted to, and that's why it went upstairs and over Dornick's head.
Cal Peterson, number 50, he was a last-minute starter. Place of Whitney Paul. Cannot play today because of an injured knee. And that hurts me. Whitney Paul is quite a performer. Probably the best all-around athlete, at least that's what they tell me, in the Kansas City squad.
He was Defensive Player of the Week a couple of weeks for Kansas City in their string of 4 straight wins.
Steve Rabel on the field now. 3 wide receiver formation for the Seahawks. Second and 10. Give us a Jodak. Quick give. Finding running room. He looked like a pinball bouncing off the tacklers there. Gain of 5 or 6 yards. Manu Maliuna was there.
Again, the steadiness of Jim Jodat. Inside running, lots of power, keeps a good base, never fumbles the football. Maybe I shouldn't say never. The next time he handles it, he'll drop it on the ground. But a good solid running back that has helped with all the injuries at running back for Seattle.
3rd and 4 now for Seattle. Ball resting at the Kansas City 32-yard line. Zorn rolling right. He finds Sawyer. First down. He beats Herb Christopher, number 41. Sawyer, a 6'2", 230-pound fifth-year veteran out of southern Mississippi, picks up 8 yards on a reception and a Seattle first down on the Kansas City 24.
Something Jim Zorn has to do is throw to the tight end. Obviously, Kansas City knows that he's going to McCullum or Largent most of the time, and he's got to throw to that tight end to open up his wide receivers, and he's done it 3 times today and been successful.
Mark Bell, number 82, has checked in place of John Sawyer. I formation. Jodat the fullback. Dornick the I back. Quick give to Jodat again. Finds a lot of running room up the middle. Great individual effort. He spun away from Gary Barbaro, and finally Thomas Howard made the stop. Picks up a Seattle first down, a gain of 11 for Jim Jodat.
Again, when we looked at Jodat on the short yardage run prior to this one, I talked about that great solid base. Don't ever give anybody a good even shot at you. Always keep your feet underneath and your legs churning. And he made a 2-yard gain into an 11-yard gain all on his own.
We used to have a sign in here someplace. I'm looking for it again. Who dat? Jodat.
Who dat when I say who dat when I say who dat too. That's way back from World War II. How do you remember that, Mike? You're not old enough.
How do you remember? I don't even think you're old enough.
Our producer remembers from World War I. Yes, Roy's old enough to remember that one.
Seattle on the 13-yard line of Kansas City. Largent motion left. Fullback draw again at Van Dornick. Art Still saved a potential long gain. Gain of 1.
Great reaction by Art Still. He was in a pass rush, and again, it was that bit of a slow draw that they run off the passing formation. Still made a great reaction to come back and save a big gain. He's quite a player, Michael.
Kansas City's defense has been on the field quite a bit this afternoon, and it's got to take its toll. Long scoring drives for the Seahawks. Second down and just a shade under 10 yards. Ball's at the 13-yard line. Zorn fakes the draw. He's got time under pressure from Frank Manu Maliuna, number 54, was in his face. He was going for Sam McCullum.
Well, really and truly, Mike, he threw that one away.
Yeah,
he bounced it at the 5-yard line. Smart, he didn't have to take the sack. Nobody was going to pick it off.
Coming into this game, Jim Zorn had passed for over 2,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Look at Efren Herrera loosening up on the sidelines. He's kicked 1 field goal of 39 yards already this afternoon. Seahawks lead 17-10, 9:32 to go here in the 3rd quarter. They are threatening.
Big play, Mike.
3rd and 10. Zorn with time going deep for Largent, but Gary Green, number 24. One of the better cornerbacks in all of the NFL there on the coverage.
Excellent coverage by the entire Kansas City backfield. They knew it was pass all the way, and they knew if they gave up a touchdown here, the game might be over. So they really sucked it up and really covered well. And don't count out a fake field goal. Jack Patera always pulls one out every single game. He'll do something weird. Onside kick in the 1st quarter. Pass from one formation.
To be a 31-yard field goal attempt for Herrera. Zorn spots the ball. The kick is up, and it is good. So Efren Herrera adds a 31-yard field goal to the Seattle lead. The Seahawks are now on top of the Chiefs, 20-10. Stay with us.
Electronic football games like these were for only one player.
End run.
but something was missing.
Can I play? Wait your turn.
Then along came head-to-head electronic football by Coleco.
Now we can play at the same time. I'm offense. I'm defense.
With head-to-head, you're really in the game. A power sweep. He fights through for the tackle. You pass. He blitzes. Intercepts.
This is real competition.
Why settle for a one-player game when you can have it all? Play alone, against the computer, or for real competition, play
Head-to-head.
Why settle for less?
Efren Herrera set to kick off for the Seahawks. He has just booted a 31-yard field goal to give the Seahawks a 20-10 lead over the Kansas City Chiefs. Had his tee turned upside down.
That's so he gets extra height that way, and you know, those kickers are weird anyway, Mike.
Carlos Carson back deep for the Chiefs. He's at his 4. Herrera's kick, high, long, taken by Carson at the 4. Across the 20, down the right sideline, and knocked out of bounds by number 56. Timmy Walker, rookie out of Savannah State. So that's where the Chiefs will put the ball in play. Elsewhere around the NFL, Atlanta coming from behind and then winning in overtime, 33-27. Key play here, a 21-yard touchdown run by Ray Strong. That was the difference.
Atlanta in a real chase with the LA Rams, and the Rams trailing Miami, so
They wind up all alone in first place in that NFC's Western Division. First and 10, Kansas City. They got the ball on their own 26-yard line. Fuller rolling to his left. Intercepted. Keith Butler, number 53, the third-year man out of Memphis State, kicks off the errant Fuller throw.
Steve Fuller waited too long this time, Michael. He had his tight end wide open. And Fuller on the roll. Play action pass on first down. It's a good call, but he's got to get those shoulders squared up and get it downfield, and he waited too long to it right to Butler. Unbelievable. That Marshall standing right there all by himself.
So Seattle with another big break. They lead KC 20-10.
Next Sunday, start your day with host Brian Gumbel and NFL 80, followed by a dynamite doubleheader featuring the Browns-Steelers rematch and Kansas City versus Dan Fouts and the San Diego Aerial Circus. Check local listings for the games in your area.
Well, here's a Seahawk fan who may go away today after witnessing his team's first win of this 1980 season. His Hawks are on top of the Chiefs 20-10. Keith Butler has just intercepted a Steve Fuller pass and put Seattle again in business on the Kansas City 38-yard line. Largent wide to the right. McCullum across the middle. There's a pass from Zorn. Brought down, or legs cut out from underneath him by number 44, Eric Harris. Gain of 16 yards. 8:50 left in the clock here in the third quarter. We now pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
You're watching Seahawks football on KING-TV, Seattle.
Zorn's got his team first down position, ball at the 23-yard line. Mike Adamle along with Mike Hafner here in the Kingdome. Jim Jodat flags are down. I think we got to get a little encroachment.
Somebody jumped too soon. You got to watch the ball and not listen to the snap count. Steve Fuller not very happy hiding behind Marv Levy at all. Not a good day. 7 for 11, 74 yards, 2 interceptions. And that hurts.
67 defense encroachment, 5 yards, still first down.
So make that a 1st and 5 situation now.
Still trying to get a little edge.
Ball on the 18-yard line. Well, you mentioned it at the top of our show, Michael, that the Chiefs are going to have to be patient with Mr. Fuller. On days he's going to look like Johnny Unitas. Other days he's going to look like Ralph Guglielmi. Sawyer motion right. Quick give to Jodat. Behind the blocking of Lynch and number 72, Lewis Bullard, who is big man, 6'6", 265 pounds. Spaney was there, so was Ken Kramer, number 91, who has moved into the front three formation for Kansas City. Kramer has replaced Dave Lindstrom, number 71, who's kind of nursing a hurt hip pointer.
And again, Mike Bell will be in there next year. Their first-round draft choice a year ago. Didn't get the chance to play against his brother this year.
Second down and 2. Ball at the 15. Give again to Jodat. Jodat, a lot of second effort running this afternoon has made a difference for him and the Seahawks. Kramer again, then on the stop. Denver now on top of San Diego 13-6. Fred Steinfurt has kicked a 42-yard field goal.
They're all going to be 8-8 in the AFC West.
Oakland now on top of Cincinnati 21-10. A kickoff return of 90 yards by the SMU great Arthur Whittington. Buffalo increasing their lead over New York 24-10. And Miami now.
Holy cow.
28-7. Another touchdown pass. Or touchdown run, rather, by David Woodley. He has now thrown for 2 and run for 2.
I'd have bet the farm on that game being the other way.
And Philadelphia is still trying to hang on. They lead New Orleans by 3. Remember, New Orleans has not won a single contest this year. Archie Manning threw a 8-yard touchdown pass to narrow the margin. Meanwhile, here in Seattle, 3rd down and inches to go for the Seahawks. Little Bart Starr time here. Fake the run and throw the bomb.
Love to see it.
Well, the conservative route. Straight ahead play. Jodat, the ball carrier. Extremely effective short yardage runner. Again behind the blocking of Tom Lynch, and 4th-year man out of Carthage College has the first down for Seattle on the Kansas City 12-yard line.
Touchdown here could really crush the Chiefs. Oh, my goodness.
It had such a wonderful opportunity to take advantage of Manu Maliuno's interception and Tony Reid's touchdown reception, but
got to give Seattle credit for coming right back after turning it over.
3 wide receivers. McCullum enlarging on one side as Zorn rolls right, almost picked off. Ball was underthrown, intended for Sam McCullum. 26, Gary Barbaro, who has intercepted Zorn in at least once in the last 3 games. Almost had his 7th interception of the year, or 6th interception.
I don't know what Zorn was thinking about, but that was a silly throw. I'd have thrown it out of bounds so that nobody could have got their hands on it and gone back, called another play. But then Jim's been a lot more successful than I ever was at quarterback in the NFL.
3 wideouts now for Seattle. 2nd and 10, ball still at the 12-yard line. McCullum motion left. Give us a Dornick trying to bounce it outside, but you just cannot run that man side. Art still there. He initially commits, and then he's got enough speed to react and make the play.
Jim Zorn fooled him with that little quick draw to the tailback. And Art still, he's got him figured out now. He got it handled. They got to throw the football if they want to get a first down or a touchdown here.
Lawrence McCutcheon has brought a play in from the sidelines. 3rd and 11 for 3rd and 12 rather for Seattle. Ball now sitting at the 14-yard line.
This is where a good tight end comes in handy, Mike. You want to throw it over the middle. The wideouts will be covered, double covered, because the linebackers can take a shorter drop and still be in the way. So he needs a good tight end play here.
Zorn got Larson working against Harris. The flag on the play. Harris, good coverage.
Little bump downfield. That may be against Kansas City.
Defensive holding, the preliminary signal given by Jim Tunney.
That's the way to get a first down.
See who the infraction is against.
There's that new rule.
Holding, number 24 defense, 5 yards, first down.
Gary Green with the defensive holding. Number 24. And usually that's rare for him. He's a mistake-free football player.
And Gary Spaney was looking at the sidelines to Marv Levy going, I didn't see him hold it.
Quick pitch to Dornan. right side, nowhere to run. Picks up about 2 yards. Gary Green knocks him out of bounds.
I pointed out time and again, it's very tough to get outside against the 3-4 defense because of the speed of those linebackers. You get the great pursuit. You saw Dornick looking for a hole back against the grain to open it, and never did.
So 2nd and goal, ball on the 8-yard line. 5:43 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Seahawks on the verge of increasing their 10-point lead. They lead 20-10.
Again, I'd like to see that tight end get open over the middle, Mike. Or one-on-one, running back on linebacker.
Zorn to throw. Tipped by Dino Mangiero, number 74, and Manu Maliuna almost made the interception.
Wow, he got off the ground for a big man. Excellent look. Our director, Barry Stoddard, using the field camera well. This is what Jim Zorn sees. And he wants Sam McCullum over the middle. Watch Manu Maliuna get up in the air. Goodness sakes, he could play center in the NBA getting off the ground like that. Great vertical jump. That's a 230-pound linebacker.
He is an outstanding football player. Steve Rabel now. 3 wide receivers for Seattle. Zorn rolling to his left. He's got some running room if he chooses to do it. Interception by Gary Green in the end zone. Number 10, Gary Green at the 15-yard line, fumbles the ball. He tried to lateral it away, but he fumbled the ball. And see what happens here.
Steve Larkin recovered. Oh, what a turnaround record. I don't believe it. Jim Zorn rolling out to his left to get away from that great pass rush. That was wise. Now here's a dumb move. Gary Green has got his man covered perfectly, Sam McCullum. Now I'd have sat down in the end zone right there. Why not bring it out to the 20-yard line? You've already made the turnaround. He almost breaks it, though. Now the ball gets away from him. And Steve Largent, Johnny on the spot, and saves Seattle. What? That's craziness.
And Jim Zorn caused the fumble. Zorn is not having a great day either. He's only completed 11 passes for 117 yards. He's thrown 3 interceptions already this afternoon.
The mistake bowl, huh?
Well, if a coach can win a game like this, it's a blessing. The draw play to Dornick, and it goes nowhere. Or rather, Larry Brinson, number 36, is now checked into the Seattle lineup. Art Still there again. Ubiquitous.
Ubiquitous Art
Omnipresent. And he's everywhere, too.
And speaking of what's his name. Well, you don't know what's going to happen next in this game. We've had every kind of possible turnover you can have.
Officials have had to be on their toes this afternoon. Again, 3 wide receivers for Seattle. 2nd down and 12, ball on their 24-yard line. There's Jesse Green, number 86, close to the first down. Eric Harris on the coverage. Or Gary Green, rather. Harris was there as well, covering the inside man, Sam McCullum. Gain of 7 yards on the play. 3rd down and 5. Ball at the 17 now. Sawyer checks into the game, so does Mark Bell. Gives Seattle 2 tight ends.
Seattle has had the ball for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, this drive has been resuscitated a number of times. It was dead, and then it was brought back to life.
Over and over again. Oh, put that Webster's dictionary away.
Here's Dornick rolling left. He breaks a couple of tackles. Nice move there by the big man. See where the officials spot the ball.
And if you say the med student moves surgically through the Kansas City defense, I'm going to pinch you.
I will say that Dornick has found a home here again. He's from nearby Yakima, Washington, where he played high school football. We'll take a look at the run again.
Again, from the I formation, you float and float and float until you find the cutback point. Dornick made a great move.
He moves with. He's 210 pounds, 6'3".
Big star, Washington.
Originally drafted by the Giants and then acquired from them and brought here. So Herrera now will attempt a 38-yard field goal. Let's see, the kick is up. It is good, 38 yards, 33 yards rather. And so Seattle now has opened up a 13-point margin. They lead the Chiefs 23-10. Stay with us. Great quarterbacks engineer great comeback drives. And if Steve Fuller is to mature at an early age, he's going to have to bring the Chiefs from behind. They trail by 13 points here. Fuller has not had a very good afternoon. Only thrown for 74 yards. Critical interceptions has hurt him.
But as usual in the NFL, he's got a chance to turn it around, Mike.
That last scoring drive, 4 plays, 7 yards. Ate up a minute and 43 seconds on the clock. But remember, it was brought back to life on an interception and then a fumble by Gary Green and a recovery by Steve Largent. Here's Herrera's kick. Driven to the left side. Carson fields it at his 5. Across the 20, he's got running room and speed across the 40-yard line. Knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Steve Rabel, but there is a flag on the play. Jesse Green is down there. He was pointing to number 31, or rather 21, Arnold Morgado. Let's see what the call is.
Holding on Morgado, and again, how can you hold on a punt kickoff return? Unbelievable.
So another costly infraction for the Kansas City Chiefs. They have made mistake after mistake. It's the 5th penalty of the ball game.
Holding.
It's cost them 39 yards.
Back,
but
10
all
yards.
those have been
First down.
would have been thrown up against half the distance penalties.
Really hurts to start back on your own. What are they at the 12-yard line when they could be up around the 50 after that great return by Carlos Carson? So the penalty really and truly isn't 10 yards, but it's more like 40 yards.
12-yard line, that's where they'll put the ball in play. Fuller back to pass. Caught by J.T. Smith, number 86, at his 21-yard line. Michael Jackson tackles him, but not after J.T. picks up the first down. He is the Chiefs' leading receiver this season.
This is the best pass all day by Steve Fuller. Good drop, reads the defense well, throws it in between the deep back and the linebacker. J.T. Smith's having a great season. They just got to get him the ball more often, and they've discovered that.
1st and 10, ball now on the 31-yard line. Quick give to Ted McKnight, trying to bounce it outside. Michael Jackson turns it in, and Jacob Green makes the stop.
Terry Beeson added the pain. He got the 3rd hit.
Next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, it's NBC Sports World. Now you'll see some of America's best in the first World Invitational Track and Field Meet from China. Then see the intensity of women's powerlifting and the best in bowling go pin for pin in the legends of bowling. That's all next Saturday on NBC Sports World, so make sure you take a look at it. 2nd down and 9, ball on the 32-yard line. 2 minutes and 15 seconds ago in the 3rd quarter. Fuller has to run out of the pocket. Breaks Bob Hardy's tackle. Across the 40, he's got the first down, running for his life out of bounds before Vic Miner got to him.
Steve Fuller and Roy Hammond, our producer, had to stick that in. He runs like a brush man. Fuller brush man, I'll tell you, he runs like a man with sore ribs because he does the very smart thing. Does not want to get another shot at him, so he gets out of bounds before anybody can make those ribs hurt anymore.
Gain of 11 yards. Remember, Fuller was sacked 10 times last week, so it's wise that he does go door to door.
Oh, yes.
Maybe he ought to sell brushes for a living, or considered it anyway. Chiefs have a first down at their own 44-yard line. Fuller to McKnight. Oh! Almost intercepted. Did he? No, the official ruling thought it was a trap.
Looking down the sideline.
Side judge Gil Mace is the referee on the spot there, and he ruled that Keith Butler trapped the ball.
Let's take a look. Track NBC crew. I guarantee you they got to look at it. trying to pick on that deep drop of the linebackers by throwing to his back, and he throws it up the ladder, which you can't do. Now let's see. Oh, he's covered up. Ooh, a little bit of astroturf along with that catch. I think it was a good call. Tim Tunney's crew doesn't make a mistake very often.
Well, it's about time anyway that one of the breaks goes Kansas City's way. They deserve that one, even if it wasn't a correct call. Ted McKnight screens, got it set up. Keith Simpson, number 42 there. So is Michael Jackson. Gain of 8 yards. 3rd down and 2.
Kansas City really opening up the offense now. Screen passes, out patterns to the wide receivers. Down by 13 points, they've got to put the ball in the air and get back in this game.
Mike Williams checks in. Carlos Carson comes out. That cost the Chiefs a lot of time. Coming in, bringing in the plays from the bench. Can't be as quick as they would like to. 1:13 left to go. 3rd quarter. Fuller. Quick little out. J.T. Smith trying to wake away from Kerry Justin. Keith Simpson rushed to his side, number 42. Gain of 10 and a 1st down for Kansas City. Ball now on the Seattle 38-yard line.
A year ago, Kansas City in a 3rd and 2 situation would have run the football. So Steve Fuller is maturing as a quarterback, and he's ready to take the risk, put the ball up.
Remember, this drive started in the 12-yard line, wiped out a long kickoff return by Carlos Carson. Fuller's got the Chiefs on the move. The draw to Tony Reed. Tony Reed with the jitterbug moves gets out of trouble, but there was just too many Seahawks there. Keith Simpson was there, as was number 77, the 10th-year man out of Wisconsin, Bill Gregory. A gain of 2 in what could have been a 5-yard loss.
Tony Reed's turned 2-yard gains from obvious losing plays a lot of times. Had a great career at Colorado, and has had a checkered career with Kansas City. Had a 1,000-yard year, and then hasn't done much since.
32 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter. 2nd down and 8 for Kansas City. Ball at the Seattle 36-yard line. 5 defensive backs. If you look at Mr. Fuller's statistics for the afternoon. Fuller's got Reed. Reed going for the 1st down. He is close. Dave Brown on the stop. Gain of 10 yards on the play. 1st down, Kansas City. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. The Seahawks are on top of the Kansas City Chiefs, 23-10. A sellout crowd here in the Kingdome. We'll be right back after messages from your local stations.
The Jack Patera Show, tonight at 6 o'clock.
Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner here in the Kingdome. 4th quarter action just to get underway. Seahawks lead the Kansas City Chiefs 23-10. A critical AFC Western Division contest. Chiefs have the ball in Seattle territory at the 27-yard line. And you look at the time of possession. For some reason, it seemed like Seattle had the ball all day long, but as you can see, this last drive has made it relatively close. Talk about this AFC Western Division, Michael. We've got a score. Denver now on top of San Diego, 20-6.
At San Diego, and that really throws this division into a wild one.
Reed going outside. I don't know how he does it, but he picks up about 4 yards. Keith Butler on the stop. 2nd down and 6. Reed has not been a happy player this year, to say the least. Ted McKnight has been the featured running back. Reed has had to block, and for that reason, he is disgruntled. So much so that Marv Levy decided to bench him today in place of Horace Belton, who has left the contest. They are x-raying his elbow or wrist. But Reed has responded. He's played very well this afternoon. 5 catches, 69 yards. 2nd down and 6 for Casey. Quarterback draw. Jacob Reed grabs him. So did Manu Tuiasosopo.
Well, that hurt my ribs, Mike. I know he's got sore ribs, and he got nailed twice. This is a planned play all the way. This was definitely a quarterback draw. Watch Steve Fuller get a couple of shots in those very sore ribs. Ouch. That one hurts.
Manu Zalode, 6'3", 252 pounds.
A UCLA Bruin, former. Of course, I'm not talking about him anymore since they lost to Oregon.
Part of the great Samoan connection that's playing in the NFL. Fuller got his man. J.T. Smith, 86, beats Kerry Justin, and Kansas City's got the first down. A key pass play here.
Steve Fuller again looking for his wide receivers on the out. This one was awfully close. Kerry Justin almost picked that one, or at least knocked it away. But Smith, great concentration to pick it off, and they've got to get that young man the ball more often, and they're doing it.
Now the ball very, very close to the 10-yard line. Drive has already consumed 90 or 81 yards.
You can't settle for a field goal here, Mike, either. They got to get in the end zone.
Henry Marshall, motion left. Fuller, touchdown. Henry Marshall. 4th touchdown reception of the year for Henry Marshall.
We got a football game again. Marshall, you called it, Mike. He was in motion, and now he's going to come back against the grain. An excellent job by Steve Fuller. Steps up, has time, now finds Marshall clear the linebackers. And there's that problem. Kerry Beeson is not where he's supposed to be in the pass coverage, and Marshall's wide open. And the Chiefs are back in this football game.
For Steve Fuller, touchdown pass number 8 this season.
He's really turned it around the second half, Mike.
Lowry will attempt the point. It's up. It is good. The Seahawks now are on top of the Chiefs, 23-17, an 88-yard touchdown drive for Kansas City. We'll be right back. We're in the Kingdome. 4th quarter is underway. 12:44 to go in this game. Seahawks on top of Kansas City, 23-17. Last drive, 187 yards, 12 plays. Elapsed time, you see it right there, 5:45, culminating with an 11-yard touchdown pass. Steve Fuller to Henry Marshall. It's got the Chiefs back in this contest. Lowry set to kick off. High, end over end, Al Hunter deep at his 1. Across the 10. Number 51, Charles Jackson, the man of the special teams, nails inside the 10-yard line. Ball will be spotted at the 9. Again, elsewhere in the NFL, Denver on top of San Diego, 20-6. A touchdown run by Dave Preston of 5 yards. Oakland hanging on against Cincinnati in the 4th quarter, 21-10. If they win and San Diego loses, they'll be alone atop the AFC Western Division. Buffalo 24-17 over New York Jets in the 4th quarter. Miami on top of Los Angeles, 28-7. David Whitley, 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown runs. Give us the Dornick. Playing in the I-back spot. Stacked up in the middle of the Kansas City line. Gain of 1, 2nd down and 9. Elsewhere in the 4th quarter, Philadelphia hanging on against New Orleans, 24-21.
Can't be much time left there. This Kansas City defense right now, a little pressure on them, Mike. If they stop Seattle, that could really give them a lift, and they could get back and win this football game. But if Seattle puts a big drive on them, it could break their back.
3 wide receivers now in for the Seahawks. 2nd down and 8. Ball's at their own 11-yard line. Zorn, straight drop back. Across the middle and underthrown. And Gary Green, number 24, almost had himself an interception. It was intended for Steve Largent.
That was an ugly pass, that's all I can say. If he'd have thrown that one well, Gary Green had been walking in the end zone.
This is not one of his better afternoons. And despite it all, the Seahawks still lead by 6 points here. You just joined us. It's 23-17. Favor the Seahawks. 11:46 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Seahawks truly dominated the first half, going in with a 17-3 lead, but it's really been all Kansas City in the second half.
3rd down 8. Zorn again back to the airway. Underthrown again, and it picked off by Manu Maliuna, number 54. He could go all the way. What sensational play by Frank Manu Maliuna. Unbelievable.
A great interception, Mike. He had the presence to get up, and then he must have broke 5 tackles before he got into the end zone. Had in mind whether he was going to return it or not. Turned out to be an awful decision. Leaves his quarterback now 90 yards away from the lead, and he could have made it 80 yards if he just downed the ball.
Steve Fuller has already engineered one 87-yard drive this afternoon. Can he do it one more time? His Chiefs trail by 6. They have the ball. The 8-yard line, 5 defensive backs for Seattle. Fuller got in trouble. He is in trouble. A fierce pass rush. Seemed like everybody was there. Bill Gregory and Robert Hardy were first to reach him, forced him in the pocket. Jacob Green also applied a lot of pressure.
You cannot allow a National League defense to know the only thing you're going to do is pass, because they just dig in, lay their ears back, and Katie bar the door. Go ahead and run the ball. They dared him to run it there.
And there's quite a bit of time here. Relatively speaking, 3:44. Running play wouldn't have been too bad. Loss of 4. Steve Fuller again back to pass. There's Ted McKnight. He hangs on. Splits 2 tacklers short of the first down. Some more NFL updates. San Diego narrowing Denver's lead 20-13. Dan Fouts to John Jefferson for 3 yards.
That's the final. So San Diego could be out of the lead if Oakland holds on.
They lead 28-17. 4-yard touchdown run by Jim Plunkett. Buffalo and the Jets tied 24-24 in the 4th. Miami on top of Los Angeles 28-14. Give to Ted McKnight. See where they spot his forward progress.
Oh, it's going to be close, Michael. Oh, this is a big measurement coming up, or a big spot by the referee.
Went over. Philadelphia gets a little breathing room. Finally, 34-21 over New Orleans. If the Eagles win this afternoon, they'll up their record to an NFL best, 9-1. Dick Vermeil's crew having some kind of season.
Talking Super Bowl already. Oh, big measurement. I say he's short. First down. So special teams guy's eyes is going.
Here, try a pair of these,
yes.
Mike.
Where's my optometrist when I need him? Big first down run by Ted McKnight.
Clock now showing under 3 minutes.
And counting.
The ball is way back in Kansas City territory, the 19. Again, 5 defensive backs for Seattle. Here's Fuller. He's got to scramble again. Flag on the play. And when they throw it from back there, it's almost 99.9% of the time a holding call.
And there are 2 flags down. They caught him double that time. That's one thing, though, Mike, stop the clock while they don't waste a timeout. Both teams have 3 timeouts left, but it sure hurts when you're staring at 90 yards to go.
Holding offense, number 77. Half the distance of the goal line, still first down.
Charlie Getty, number 77, the 7th-year veteran out of Penn State. And there you got a graphic display of the penalties. Again, not much yardage, but they've been half the distance penalty, and at crucial and inopportune times. Fuller, 1st and 19, scrambling, he's in the end zone. Fires the ball, it is caught by Stan Rome, number 87. A 2nd-year man out of Clemson who only played 1 year of college football. His sophomore year, John Harris on the stop.
And I'll tell you, Steve Fuller out of Clemson found an old teammate. And I'll tell you, a moving quarterback can help you every day of the week. You almost got caught back there for a safety that would really have taken them out of the game. But here's Rome on the scramble. An old Clemson player finds another old Clemson player and keeps this game alive.
33 yards on that pass play gives Kansas City a first down at their own 43-yard line. Timeout KC. And there you see the clock, which is a critical factor. 2:18 remaining here in the fourth and final quarter.
And I'll bet there are a lot of sore behinds in the Kingdom. They've been sitting on the edge of their chair the entire game. Something always happens to keep them alive.
This is a game that a Cheryl Teague sort of like. A lot of complexion changes.
Oh, that's good. I like it.
Kansas City's got 2 timeout lefts. A little sidebar on Stan Rome, the man who made that last reception. Only played 1 year of college football, his sophomore year at Clemson. He was the leading scorer his senior year for the Clemson basketball team and was drafted by the Cleveland Cavaliers. Recapping some of the scores around the NFL today, Pittsburgh beats their 4th NFC Central Division opponent, this time Tampa Bay, 24-21. The Giants break an 8-game losing streak. They beat Dallas surprisingly, 38-35. Washington humiliated by the Chicago Bears, 35-21, 3 touchdown passes for Vince Evans. Cleveland stays atop the AFC Central Division. They're 7-3 with a 1-point win over Baltimore in the rain, 28-27. And Atlanta struggles in overtime against St. Louis, 33-27. Fuller back to pass, dropped by Henry Marshall, underthrown.
Stop the clock though, Mike. And again, it doesn't make any difference now. They got to get in the end zone. It doesn't make any difference how they get there, where they get there. It's when they get there.
These games, they wind up, no matter how they start off, they're always competitive. They have met 6 times since Seattle's existence in the league since 1976. Seattle holds a 4-2 edge. The number of their victories, they haven't won 4. They've won them by 11 points, so it gives you an indication just how close these games have been. 2nd and 10. 3 wide receivers. Fuller pressured, gets out of the pocket. Woo! Bill Cook was there. Jacob Green almost had him. Timeout KC.
2-minute warning.
Gain of 7 yards on the play. So Steve Fuller walks to the sidelines to confer with Coach Marv Levy. He needs a miracle. His team trails by 6. Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner with just 2 minutes remaining in the fourth and final quarter here in the Kingdome. The Seahawks trying to win their very first game of this 1980 NFL season. They lead Kansas City 30-24. Kerry Justin, the cornerback, has been taken from the field on a stretcher. He was on the sidelines. Preliminary indications, rib injury. What that means is that Seattle is now playing 2 defensive backs that have no pro experience, 2 rookies. 3rd and 3, Fuller. Scott J.T. Smith, first down into Seattle territory.
No timeout. It's a hurry-up offense.
Gain of 14 yards.
Fuller's in no hurry.
Clock ticking at 1 minute and 40 seconds. Chiefs need the touchdown to win. Fuller to Tony Reed. Upended by Keith Simpson, the Seattle defensive captain. Timeout, Kansas City. We would like to welcome those viewers who have just joined us. The Kansas City Chiefs and Seattle Seahawks. The game is still underway. 1 minute and 25 seconds ago, Seattle leads 30-24. Disney's Wonderful World, Old Yeller, will be seen immediately following the conclusion of NBC's football coverage over most of these stations, except for most Mountain and Pacific time zones, where it will be seen at its regular time.
What a wild game we've had here today, Michael. It's been a turnover bowl. Jim Zorn, 5 interceptions. Kansas City fumbles the punt when they've got the lead. I mean, it's just been crazy.
As good an interception return as I've seen in this year in the NFL. Frank Manu Maliuna went 2 yards with a Zorn pass for a score. Mr. Fuller, after a slow start, has come on strong. He's now 17 for 24, 202 yards on the afternoon. Last week was the first time he went over the 200-yard mark with 216 yards against the Baltimore Colts. And now he's done it again with 202 here against the Seahawks, and he has a chance to pad that total. Buffalo, final. They have gone on top of the New York Jets, 31-24. The difference there, a touchdown pass, Ferguson to Frank Lewis, 31 yards. Miami, how about this one? 35-14. David Woodley, the rookie quarterback, has been the star. He has thrown 2 touchdown passes, and he's scrambled for 2. Miami on top, 35-14 in the fourth at the Coliseum in L.A., or not the Coliseum, Anaheim. They move. Fuller. He's in trouble again, and he's got to run out of the pocket, throws the ball. He's got Ted McKnight inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line. John Harris saves the touchdown. And the clock is ticking with 1:11 to go. Kansas City just has 1 timeout remaining.
Steve Fuller's got to throw it away here to stop the clock and save that timeout. But again, he needs a touchdown to win, Mike.
26 yards on that pass play. Here's Fuller. He's got J.T. Smith at the 2.
I wouldn't call timeout here. I'd let it run, but he's going to call it anyway.
Oh.
Now they're out of timeouts, but they're at the 1-yard line with a chance to win this football game, Mike. It's amazing.
They got back in the ball game with an 87-yard touchdown drive. They went ahead 24-23 when Manu Maliuna went 22 yards with the interception. We'll recap the game in just a moment, but right now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
You're watching Seahawks football on KING-TV, Seattle.
Looking at the Chiefs' offensive team, Mike Adamle and Mike Hafner here. 47 seconds left to go here in the Kingdome in Seattle. Seattle desperately trying to hang on for their first win of this 1980s season. I mentioned earlier that Steve Fuller engineered an 87-play touchdown drive that got him back into contention. He has now gone 90 yards on this particular drive. They're down at the 2-yard line, actually 1.5-yard line. If you look at his stats, he's now had his best game as a professional yardage-wise anyway, 233 yards. And the Chiefs are 2 yards away from a magnificent comeback.
I'll tell you, it's become the Kingdome jinx for the Seattle Seahawks. They're 0-4 at home this season, and they're 2 yards away from being 0-5.
Well, what's happening is the Raiders are moving to Los Angeles, and the Seahawks will move to Oakland now. Still be called the Seattle Seahawks, and
I'm certain next week that Jack Patera will take his next home game anyway. He'll take his team up in a plane, fly them around for a while, and then bring them back down to make it seem like an away game so they can win. What a crazy day.
Well, so far, Steve Fuller, he's, after a relatively slow start, has been a picture of concentration, maturity, refuses to get rattled underneath that heavy Seattle rush, and it has been a good pass rush this afternoon.
No timeouts left for Kansas City. They got to punch it in 47 seconds, so he should do it.
Beckman motion right. Give us to Arnold Morgado, their short yardage special. He wiggles for 1 yard.
And there's a penalty
flag on the play, which is a bonus for Kansas City because it stops the ticker.
But it could move him back 10 yards, too. Let's see what happens.
Kansas City players are clapping.
Personal foul. Kansas on Seattle.
And it just changed the down and distance a bit as well.
Personal foul, number 22. Late hit, unnecessary roughness, half the distance, and first down.
So this time it's the Seahawks who commit the inopportune infraction. Dave Brown, guilty of hitting Arnold Morgado a little too vigorously. Personal foul. Kansas City's got a first down. Inside the 1, 42 seconds on the clock. Morgado, the ball carrier. Touchdown, Kansas City. And do you believe it? The Kansas City Chiefs have just gone 92 yards to come back on top. Right now they're tied. If Lowry can make the extra point, the Chiefs, at least it would appear, would have the victory sealed. But Lowry could always miss this extra point.
That's right, and Jim Zorn can bring them back in 40 seconds to get a field goal and win it. So, as we've said all afternoon, this game isn't over yet. Holy cow.
It's been a great one. Lowry has been perfect all season on extra points. The snap from Monet, the spot, it's up, it is good. There are no flags down, so Kansas City has gone back in front. Just 40 seconds remaining here in the fourth and final quarter. The Chiefs on top of the Seattle Seahawks, 31-30.
Mike, in this situation, do you kick it deep and give them a chance to run it back? Do you squib it, give them good field position, so maybe 2 quick passes can give you field goal position for Herrera? It's an interesting dilemma for the special teams coach.
Well, one of the reasons why they acquired Nick Lowry, in addition to his field goal accuracy, he possessed, as they said anyway, deeper kickoffs than Jan Stenerud. He can blast the ball deep, and I'm sure that's what they'll do in this particular venture. And what a day for Mr. Fuller, right? He's really coming to age. Second-year man out of Clemson. They installed a T formation last year, the swing T, because he didn't have the tools just quite yet. But they had a lot of confidence in this man. And this afternoon, boy, he has put on quite an exhibition of comeback football.
Had an awful first half, and that's being polite. And he came back in the second half, and as you can see, his teammates love what he's done in this second half. Brought him back with 28 points after a 3-point production in the first half, and that's the sign of a maturing young quarterback. And Kansas City fans, you haven't got long to wait for. This guy is one of the top in the NFL. A lot of pressure on Lowry here, Michael.
Deep for Seattle, Al Hunter, 24, Will Lewis, 41. Hunter driven back in his end zone at the 4. He's going to down it there.
80 yards in 40 seconds, Mr. Zorn, or at least 40 yards, so you can get a shot for effort.
We'd just like to remind you, with 40 seconds left to go on the clock, that the executive producer of NBC's football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer is Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game, and we'd like to extend our congratulations to them, they've been spectacular, was produced by Roy Hammerman and directed by Barry Stoddard. Associate Director Mark Corwin. Thank you, gang.
Super job, guys.
40 seconds to go. Seattle needs a field goal to win. Zorn rolling to his left, deep left. He's got Rabel all alone. There's back across the middle, Sam McCullum. Timeout, Seattle, or at least they better call it. They do. Thomas Howard finally makes the stop. They'll bring the chains all the way out to the 43-yard line. You look at the clock in the right-hand corner of your screen. 28 seconds to go. A gain of 23 yards, and that pass completion to Sam McCullum.
It's not over yet. I keep saying it.
Watch the deep, deep drop that Jim Zorn takes here.
This is a smart move because you give an opportunity for your receivers to get deep downfield. You also take away the pressure of the pass rush. Now Zorn has lots of time to sit and wait to find that crossing man in between the linebackers and the deep back. And McCullum's there wide open.
Talking to KC cornerback Gary Green, he says the thing that makes Seattle's wideout so effective is that because of Jim Zorn and his ability to roll that deep, they can't afford to take the deepest routes in the league, and it makes the defensive back's job that much more difficult.
I wish I'd had a quarterback like that. With my speed, it took me an hour and a half to get open.
You had Ralph, and you had Ralph Goyami,
yeah, right.
Wherever he is.
Wherever
I'm sorry, Ralph.
That's it. Give those Notre Dame quarterbacks a bad time after their 3-3 with Georgia Tech yesterday. Efrain Herrera warming up.
He's kicked 3 already. 39, 31, 34, maybe the most valuable player on this Seattle team. 28 seconds to go, fourth quarter. Seattle trying for a comeback. They have the ball on their own 43-yard line. 3 wide receivers in the game for Seattle. Zorn drops back. There's Dan Zorning out of bounds, short of the first down. Stops the clock, but inside Kansas City territory. Gain of 9 yards, 2nd and 1.
Again, Jim Zorn with the deep drop, and he's looking either deep for the crossing pattern or for the running back out of the backfield who's beating the linebackers. And there's Dornick wide open. He doesn't care about the first down. The most important thing is to move down into Efren Herrera range, and they're doing that with 22 seconds left.
Herrera's range seems to be 48 yards in. 48 yards is his long of the season. So they need about 10 more yards to get into field goal range. Here's Zorn. Dornick. Nice defensive play by Frank Manu Maliuna, 54. And the crowd here at the Kingdom thought it was pass interference. You're shaking your head. What do you think?
I'm always on the receiver's side. It was close, and I leave it up to the guys in the striped shirts because I wouldn't want that job. Still time. They need about 10, 15 more yards for Herrera to take a shot. And I'll tell you, he'll try it even if he doesn't have a shot because, you know, what else you got to lose? 2 timeouts left for the Seahawks and 18 seconds.
Very few of the fans have left this stadium, and I can't blame them. 18 seconds remaining, fourth and final quarter. Seahawks trying to rally from behind. Zorn rolling to the left. There's Sam McCullum's out of bounds at the 43-yard line. Gary Green knocks him out of bounds, a gain of 4, but it's good for the first down. Now 13 seconds on the clock.
And if they had to kick a field goal right now, it would be a 60-yarder, Mike, and I don't think Efren Herrera has ever made one that far. So they need another completion for a significant amount of yardage to give him at least a chance.
Well, we're going to have our spotter check the Seattle bench to see if they have anybody inflating the footballs with helium.
No, George Hallis was wrong. Al Davis did that. That's right. Accused somebody of it.
Well, they were accusing Ray Guy of inflating the ball with helium.
Yes.
Herrera may be the man of the hour. We'll wait and see. Ball is resting on the Kansas City 43-yard line. 13 seconds on the clock. Zorn. Largent had Eric Harris beat. Overthrown. 9 seconds on the clock.
That says it all right there. They've got one more pass before they call their final timeout to kick the field goal, Mike. This is the ball game right here. Zorn's not happy either. Look at him. He had him wide open.
Well, if Zorn can snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, this place will be truly up for grabs.
They will go bananas.
58,976 on hand. There were 5,783 in no-show.
Listen to that crowd. They know.
Largent, motion right. Here's Zorn. He's got a scramble. Going for Largent. Oh!
1 second left, Mike.
1 second left on the clock. I guess Herrera will get a chance to try for it. Largent had a step or two on Gary Green. He ran a beautiful pattern, as he is wont to do.
A 60-yard attempt, Michael. 60 yards are a long way.
Only one man has kicked it over that distance, Tom Dempsey. He holds the NFL record. 63 yards. So here's Herrera's shot. His longest ever is 52. His longest this year, 48. Michael Hefner, I tell you, we have seen ourselves quite a ball game. The Seattle Seahawks have gone to defeat at home for the 5th consecutive time. Their record now stands at 4-6. The Seattle Seahawks are the Chiefs, on the other hand. They go to 5-5, 31-30 the final. And remember, immediately following these messages, stay tuned for Disney's Wonderful World. Old Yeller, which will be joined in progress over most of these stations, except Mountain and Pacific time zones, where it'll be seen at its regular time. Thanks for joining us.
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. United serves more of this land than any other airline. That's what friendly skies are all about.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports. We're proud to bring you the best in sports television.